What's up, Hub South? How's everybody doing? I got the team here today. How y'all doing?
All right.
All right, all right. It's Folachek here. Hey, real quick, just want to let you know today's
Oh.
podcast is brought to you by Meth Streams.
When your TV goes down and you need a little help. So first let's get started on one thing I wanted to address was the Sleeper app. Hey guys, if you don't know how something works, people usually look into it and figure it out. So if you were born in the 70s, I mean I was, but I mean let's grow up and let's learn how to do things like normal people. Did it affect y'all very much?
No, not at all.
Absolutely, and we're going to complain about it.
Not even a little bit.
I wanted to put that $1 on Malik Willis.
I really thought that it was going to take more than 1 week for the big reveal that you're out to just destroy James and his whole team. I thought that was going to be a little bit longer.
Well, James, and Tony knows this. James he likes to fan the fire a little bit just to see what he can get riled up.
Sure.
I don't.
Yeah, you do too.
Yeah.
Both of y'all do.
Good
So-
for the economy, he said.
So we'll start first, and I'll start with saying I think I did pretty good on my projections. I got 8 good, 4 bad. 4 games I just totally got wrong. 8 I did good. I think 2 were iffies. But what we were talking about earlier is the slate. So how did y'all feel about the overall, not just fantasy, but just overall football last week?
It was sloppy football.
It's ugly, just across the board. Every team that you expected to look really good didn't. They
terrible.
managed to squeak it. Like, it says something when the Saints are the star of the show in week 1. You know what I mean?
Derek Carr. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
I'm sorry, who
Who-
kept saying,
well-
watch out for Derek Carr this year? He might have a good year.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't
Take
remember that.
Take 2 touchdowns away. He's normal. He's
Yeah.
below normal.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. We can't.
I
But
bet
he
you
got the
this week,
touchdowns.
He did, but I protest.
this week, and every week that he's not playing Bryce Young and the Panthers, I don't think you got to watch out for that guy.
So I think before before the season started, we all had our worst teams. Give me 2 of the worst teams in the NFL right now?
So absolutely, the Panthers are one of them, and that's the one that I was like from the beginning. People, you picked the Panthers to finish above the Saints. Never saw that was going to happen. Just isn't.
Well-
I'm not buying.
Well, also just like in waivers, let's calm down with the excitement right now. I mean, because
Sure.
there's going to be this. Everybody has an off day.
No. Listen, after week one, it's all about taking the victory laps on the things that you got right while you still can. And the things you got wrong, you just say, well, we're not going to overreact to week 1. We're going to wait and see.
This is also how he spends the Folietics.
And I, across the board, just pretty much got everything wrong. So I'm just going to be bitter this week. I think that's going to be my strategy.
Well, at least you didn't get the draft wrong like I did, so everything looks terrible. So I guess we'll just go ahead and dive in. Bills and Dolphins.
Devon Achane,
What-
questionable.
Yeah.
Raheem Mostert out.
Raheem's out.
What about Allen? His hand?
Yeah.
How's that?
It's his non-throwing hand,
It's
right?
his non-throwing,
Is he
yeah.
having surgery?
I'm not worried.
He's probably still going to be fine. I didn't catch a lot of the Bills game last week, so I didn't see how the rest of the team looked
Well,
around him.
that's what we were talking about earlier before you got here. They only pass I think it's 5 times in the first
Wow.
half.
Oh, wow.
But saying that, I mean, Josh Allen's the only quarterback since I think Brett Favre who had 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns.
And he had a 3rd rushing touchdown, by the way, that got taken off
Yes.
the board.
And by the way, your star Marvin Harrison. Did you see the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
route
I
Did-
did.
where they hiked the ball and Marvin
Yeah,
Harrison's
wide open
running?
in the
He's
end zone.
he's waving. Hey,
I'm here.
and Kyler does Kyler things.
So what did Marvin finish with? Is it 1 catch? Is that what I saw?
1 catch.
1 catch?
And 2 targets, I think.
Ouch.
That's tough.
Okay.
Back to it. I still got the Bills in this game. I think you're right. I think Josh Allen looks solid all the way through. I think a lot of people are going to burn a lot of their waiver priority on Jeff Wilson Jr. and get sunk again.
Somebody already picked him up.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Well,
Well,
good luck.
And I think we'll start with the Bills first. Allen, I think he's always a
I'm
start.
starting him.
I got him for 250 and 2. I feel like Cook, and this is the weird thing. Watching some of the game, I feel like the Bills have turned into a run first offense. Now this could be just the one game that got flipped upside down, but I feel like that's the way it is, and I feel he's going to have a good game, 101. And the wide receivers, close your eyes and throw a dart.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, since Joe Brady took over the offense, it's kind of been a little more run heavy, and losing Diggs isn't helping that.
No.
I'm starting Dalton Kincaid this week, probably. I'm still going back and forth between him and Bowers, but I'm leaning Kincaid, knowing it's a dart throw. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it really is. It's with tight end, anyone's a dart throw, so Kincaid's
Absolutely.
as good as anyone.
Especially last week.
Exactly,
Ugh.
yeah. Something I got wrong was the whole, it might be a bounce back year for tight ends. It was a rough week for tight ends. But yeah, on the receiver front for Buffalo, there's nobody you can trust. I mean, Coleman went 4 for 51 last week, but that's
I
don't
think
know.
I think he's beside. I love Shakir, but I feel like Keon's the best one on the team.
He's the best one on the team, but that's just not saying much.
I do agree. You got anything, Evan, on the wide receivers?
Like you said, this is kind of what it's like to be a Saints fan about 10 years ago, where it's just like somebody might have a huge game out there in Buffalo.
You just don't know.
But you're not going to be able to tell who it is.
All right, so now we'll look at the Fins.
Start everyone who's playing.
Yeah, except running back. I mean, and I feel like it's going to be Wilson and a chain.
If he plays,
Achane
and then
might
who's
not
the
play.
other?
I know that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if he
Who's
plays,
the other one, what's his name?
Jalen Wright.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Jalen Wright. A lot of people are excited about him. I don't know, maybe. But
I mean, I think Miami running backs are just I think they have so much potential. Like whoever's going to be out there can be so great, can have like a league-winning week any week. If Achane's out, I think you got to start Jeff Wilson and Jalen Wright just for the upside.
see, I got Tua with 275 and 2. I got Tyreek with 125 and 1, and Waddle between injury timeouts, he's gonna get you 75 and 1.
I've never seen that happen in a game before, where he gets ruled out completely
yeah.
It
and
comes-
then comes
right
back
back
in.
in.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know.
I was celebrating your demise a little too early in the
Yes,
chat
you
when
were.
that happened, and then I looked. I was like, "How do you get back to 13 points? What happened here?"
Didn't even take him 3 days to come back to life.
About that.
So, ugh. Anybody else anything on the Dolphins and
That's it for me.
Bills?
Don't start Jonnu Smith. If
Yeah,
you're desperate
yeah,
at tight
don't.
end.
So next we got the Raiders and Ravens. Okay, now saying this, I feel like Lamar's going to have a crazy game.
Sure.
But that's just a feeling. I didn't map it like that. So for the Ravens, who y'all got?
For the Ravens, it's
Everybody?
It's Lamar. It's Henry.
I
maybe Zay
think
Flowers.
likely has a come down game. I don't think.
Oh,
I do
yeah.
not think he
Andrews
gets
is look.
even
Andrews
half.
is coming back.
My other league, somebody dropped Andrews.
Are you
and
serious?
spent 45 fantasy action dollars on Isaiah Likely.
I would've
and
s-
I am on Mandrews. I hope he comes back.
Well,
I think.
You'll see later on, but that he'll be Isaiah's going to be my sit of the week.
Likely. If you're desperate at tight end, sure.
And everybody is.
And
everybody
So
is.
nobody
You've got
knows.
him. I think I'm running him, but
Well,
at
so
the same time.
The cream's going to rise to the top. It's going to be Kelsey. It's going to be. I mean,
Here's the bigger question for the Ravens, though: How panicked are we about Derrick Henry?
I don't know.
Was it game script? Was it a bad offensive line? Is Henry cooked?
I think the offensive line has a big part of it. I think the fact that they were getting called, how many illegal formations
Yeah,
that they
it was
had,
a lot.
It really kind of tanked all of them, and it fell to Lamar to do crazy things to get there, and that just didn't involve Henry as much as I think he will get in the season. But
I think you're probably right. I think people were. It was weird to see how surprised people were that Derrick Henry wasn't out there on third down. Like he's never been out there on third
I
down
know.
his
I mean,
entire
that's
career.
yeah.
That's just not his game. I think to me it comes down to that line, and it's new. It's a new line. There's like 3 new people on that offensive line. So over time, is chemistry going to get better, or is it just going to be bad all year? In which case, I'm scared.
And And I feel like the Ravens' offense is going to take 3 weeks, and you take an average, and that's going to be what they are. Because I mean, okay, Lamar, you don't know. I got him for 215 and 1, and that's I would sit Henry, and the only other person I would start would be Flowers.
I think you got to start Henry. I mean, if you've got Henry, you drafted him highly enough. What's your alternative?
100%.
Look, I'm telling you, the dong is telling you to sit Henry. I don't know who has him, but sit him.
Let's take a look. Is it whoever you're playing this week? It could be.
That's probably what it is. That's probably
I have not even looked. I promise you.
On the Raiders side, I mean,
Oh man,
All of it's ugly.
yeah, nobody but Devontae Adams is a start.
and I don't even know. I mean, you drafted him. You got to start him. I don't even know. I don't even know if I would go him. Like if I had what's wide receiver for the Chiefs, the rookie?
Lad McConkey?
No, the rookie.
Oh, for
Worthy.
the Chiefs.
Worthy.
Worthy, sorry.
I would start Worthy over him.
Interesting.
I mean,
I don't think I'd go there.
okay. So I got Minshew for 201, and don't start anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, don't start Minshew if you can avoid it.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Ugh.
Super flex league, you might have to, but ooh.
Yeah, do that with one eye closed. Browns and Jags. This is going to be another gross game. We'll start with the Jags. I got T-Law for 225 and 1, and other than that, who knows?
Is Tank Bigsby taking over?
It looks like it, but once again, we don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to watch that game, so I don't really know.
ETN had the fumble that cost them the game. But here's the thing, Tank Bigsby also has fumble issues. I would be so worried if I were an ETN owner, except Bigsby
Has the
kept
same.
fumbling it last year.
Yeah. Evan, you got anything?
Every Jaguar makes me nervous. I was a little bit high on Evan Ingram this year. Probably higher than I should have been. Kind of bit me in the butt last week. If he gets what'd you say?
225.
225 and 1. Hopefully the 1 goes to Evan Ingram. Otherwise, I'm staying away from Jaguars all week.
And now we turn to what's his name? What's his alter ego?
Leroy?
Leroy
something like that.
Brown, the
Leroy
Browns.
Bickerstaff.
Bickerstaff.
God bless it.
I didn't even attempt to write down expectations. I just put nope on the Browns.
I mean,
Amari Cooper.
other than the way that the Bears played in the first half, that was the ugliest performance I remember watching
the
this
Bears.
week. The Bears were terrible. The Browns were worse.
But don't count out Captain Comeback. I
We'll
laugh.
get to the Bears. We'll get to the Bears.
Sorry,
but
sorry.
Watson, yeah, he might be the worst second worst starting quarterback in the NFL, I should say.
Yeah, you know.
Daniel
who the
Jones
worst.
is
Daniel
still
Jones
in
is
the
worst.
league.
See,
It's
I would move.
You got
I got
Watson
multiple.
under.
I got multiple bad quarterbacks, and we'll
There's
get to
lots.
it. We'll get to it.
But, I mean, yeah, Jerome Ford, I think, he got the touchdown, which kind of saved you, but I'm not excited about trotting out Jerome Ford again. There's no one I really, other than Amari Cooper. And you know what? Njoku's fine. Yeah, roll out.
Yeah, but he's
out.
hurt.
He's out this week, right?
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
that's what I'm
I think he's
saying.
got-
I wouldn't trust anybody.
I'm not sure. I think he's in concussion protocol.
You're right, he is out. My
Um,
bad. I didn't catch that.
But Amari Cooper, I don't remember his stats, but balls were just bouncing off his hands all damn game. It was driving me nuts. Hopefully he can come back against a worse team. I mean, he was against the Cowboys last week, but it was
We'll see when
9 targets, 2 receptions. on
Yeah,
Amari
see,
Cooper.
that's
rough.
that's almost unacceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, and Mara Cooper's awesome.
And you got to trust the talent there. 9 targets,
I mean,
think, tells you a story.
that's Watson.
Yeah, that's-
Leroy Bickerstaff is over there tweeting instead of throwing the ball.
You got me calling for Jameis once again.
Lord help us.
Give him a shot.
James.
Y'all know I love Jameis.
All right, so we'll move on down to the Jets and Titans.
Yep.
Mm.
My boy
So-
Will Levis.
So, so since you're on there, we'll go to the Titans. I didn't.
It was ugly.
It is ugly.
It was ugly.
If Levis can just do for 4 quarters what he did in the first Sunday, man, that'll be a great team.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and the only person. See, I got Levis for like 225 and 1. You don't. I feel like the wide receivers, you don't have a clue, and the only person you can trust on the Titans right now is Pollard, and that is even a coin flip because you don't know. I mean, yeah, he looked.
Spears.
Yeah,
That wouldn't surprise me, honestly. I was expecting Spears to have a much better game than Pollard, but Pollard looked good. So
They
happy
kept
with
saying
that.
that Pollard was going to be the
The
main
bell cow,
back, and
yeah.
you know, the bell cow, and Spears would be a complimentary role, and nobody believed it. Everyone was just like,
nah,
no
it's gonna
way.
be IJ. No, but
yeah.
Ridley, I mean, keep starting Ridley. DeAndre Hopkins hurt me in another league. It's sad to see, but he'll get better over time, I think.
What number season? Do you know what season Hopkins is in? What number this is for him?
This has got to be like 12.
God bless
I think he came in around 2012.
He probably came in the same time as Rodgers.
him.
All right, so saying that, we'll move
Speaking
on.
of.
Yeah, we'll move on to the Jets. Jets, Jets.
God bless him.
Nathaniel Hackett's still one of the worst offensive coordinators in the NFL.
They have such a good team, and
It should have been much better.
well, saying that, poor Rodgers and Cousins. Lord, I mean, I feel like they're back there with their one knee on the little roller cart.
Yeah. They
And-
got a rascal scooter on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, they cannot move.
No,
Yeah.
Roger was stepping gingerly the whole game. Like I said,
Well, if you watch Cousins, and we'll get to that, but Cousins was throwing off
Yeah.
his front foot the whole game.
Yeah, it was rough
Yikes.
for both of them. I mean, I've always had this problem with Rodgers Hackett offenses. There's no motion, very little play action. That's just not going to set your team up for success in a modern
No.
like that ship has sailed. There was a time you could get away with that, not anymore, and that just really lowers the ceiling. I will say the one thing I had watching this game, all preseason, I kind of had this thing in the back of my head. Alan Lazard is there, and boy, Aaron Rodgers loves him some Alan Lazard.
that showed in the
Yeah,
game.
it did.
I mean, Lazard was a star. Another person that people are going to burn a lot of priority and fantasy bucks on. I don't see that continuing.
He's
But-
not talented.
But what's his wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Looked awesome that first
He did.
half. I mean, I thought that dude was going to get like
That one
15
touchdown,
catches.
That one touchdown drive. You and I disagreed on this. I think Rodgers looked pretty good. He didn't have his mobility, but his placement and everything was good. He had good reads. He had good decision making. I mean, that one right before they had to punt it, when they hit Garrett Wilson on the sideline, his stride is just too damn long. I mean, he was 10 yards off the
But-
sideline.
and
still
I don't
hit it.
I don't think that was the same play, but there was a play where he hit Wilson, and yes, Wilson caught the ball, but Lazard had the first down, and instead of throwing it to the wide open Lazard,
Right.
Gunslinger comes out and he's going to fit it into Wilson, and I hate that.
Sure.
So
Brees Hall's still pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good football player.
That's a gotta be started.
yes,
kind of
I
a guy.
I feel like Rodgers is going to be started. I got him for 250 and 2, Wilson 101, and Brees Hall 101. I feel like that's. I don't feel like the Titans have a very good defense.
No.
Moving on, we'll get to the 49ers and Vikings.
Sam Darnold revenge game. The 49ers let him
Lord.
go.
So Foley, hit me with Darnold.
He was not the worst quarterback in the NFL last
He-
week.
surprised-
Well,
he
you know
was
what? People
not.
forget. People forget this about Darnold. First 3 games of every year, like you trot Darnold out there, and he gives you 3 great games, and then becomes Sam Darnold. But for 3 weeks, it's like he doesn't know who he is, and he actually looks pretty good. And I think we're in that right now. We'll see where things are a couple weeks from now, but for now, Darnold looks good in that system.
And
So-
you're starting Jefferson no matter what.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
Jalen Naylor as a dark horse with Jordan Addison out.
Is Addison out?
Addison is out.
Okay.
Jalen Naylor is going to be the wide receiver.
Definitely a flex option.
Yeah.
I got 202 for Darnold. I feel like that's going to be a stat line for the first
Yeah.
3 games. I mean,
sure.
That's pretty much what he had. Yeah.
Jones 75 and 1, and Jefferson 101. So, like you said, I feel like you're starting Jones, you're starting Jefferson. After
Chandler
that,
had a decent little outing. Old Ty Chandler. I don't remember what he finished with, but it was more than I was expecting.
So Uriah, do we have a little take accountability here for Sam Darnold? You were talking about, can't even take Justin Jefferson because Sam Darnold's so bad.
well,
I-
once again,
I
it's
don't
one
disagree.
game. It's
Yeah.
one game in, Foley.
Yeah,
let's
we'll
don't hitch that wagon right yet.
Okay.
I mean, let's just like you said, fourth game.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Fair enough.
On the 49ers, man, that was
Start your Niners.
that was a weird game with McCaffrey out, and you can see that team is straight running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So
Jordan Mason looked incredible.
So when C-Mac comes, I mean, it's just going to be more of the same thing.
So, Evan, since you have him in your other league, I have him in this league. Jordan Mason, what are you doing if McCaffrey plays this week?
I don't think he's going to. Off the jump. I don't believe Christian's coming back this week. They don't want to put him on turf. It's a short week. I just don't see it happening. I'm hoping, honestly, that they don't. I don't really want to see him ease back into situation. It's tough because you can't trust Shanahan. You have no idea what's going to happen. I think you pretty much got to start Mason either way. I don't. Even if he comes back, it's going to be limited.
I'm benching Mason if McCaffrey plays.
Okay. C-Mac plays.
Mm-hmm.
Mason as a flex or Swift as a flex. Who are you going with?
I'm going to go Swift.
Really? Okay.
Right now, it's for me in this league, it's between Devin Singletary and Jordan Mason, and I'm going Devin Singletary if McCaffrey plays.
That's fair.
I've got Swift. He's on the bench either way.
Really? Well, I mean, I don't trust him either, but we'll get to that. Purdy did not look good.
No, not great.
But I mean, I can't really say anything bad because you give the rock to him, and I mean, between him and Debo, I don't know how many yards they had, but
Debo looked pretty damn good this week.
Did he get as many points as Mike Evans?
Didn't get quite as many points as Mike Evans.
I'll take Debo over Mike Evans.
5 on 9, 54 yards. You got a rushing touchdown.
It's a marathon,
on 8 attempts.
not a sprint.
I would like to denounce Kyle Shanahan, by the way, just going back to the Jordan Mason thing, because he didn't. Apparently, Mason knew he was the starter on Friday night.
I think that's been overblown. I think that, yes, he probably did know that he was starting Friday night, but they were going to do sort of an ease back in. They
lied to the public is what happened.
But I think he could have thought.
Public.
What
did he know and when did he know?
I think he could have thought that Christian was going to play.
That, if you thought anybody in the NFL coach pedigree would lie, it would be him.
For sure.
Him or Harbaugh.
I think it's entirely possible that he thought Christian was going to play, and then it was like, nah, we can't. But they already told Mason, get ready, you're going to start us off.
I feel like you're starting everybody. It's just the running back situation you're iffy on.
How do you feel about Ayuk? I mean, obviously you're going to start him. How do you feel
I got
to.
Once again, I feel like between him and Debo and Kittle, I feel like you have to hit the weeks that he hits.
Yeah.
And that's just he was good last year, the back half, and that's why he was thrown up so high. But he was
a half an inch from a big touchdown.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's a big play.
Yeah.
Which
that was as somebody who doesn't even own Ayuk, that was a really disappointing look right there. That's the kind of thing that you think, man, training camp would have fixed that. You know what I mean?
And he had a couple of drops too that were just like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of rust. What are you gonna do? I mean, you're facing the same thing with Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
So moving on, we'll go to Chargers. And it's funny you say that. I have both of them. That's sad. But Chargers and the Panthers. Panthers.
Garbage.
Nope.
Don't start
Absolutely
anyone.
not.
Yeah, kiss your butt goodbye if you own any of that property.
Maybe give Deontay Johnson one more chance.
Good luck. I mean, good luck with that.
I'm not starting Chuba Hubbard this week.
I'm not starting anybody.
Yeah,
that one's disappointing to me. He was like the one person on the Panthers that I was actually expecting kind of a bit of a bounce, but not even bounce back because he was pretty decent last year.
Yeah, I mean, part of it, to be fair, again, I am benching him, but game script hurt the hell out of him. They had to abandon the run so early. But they might have to do that again. So
and that was a ton of games. I mean, between field goals and running the rock, I mean, you're gonna not pass because you're running it and you're scoring.
On the other hand, I felt like there were a lot of games this week where a team is down by 7 in the third quarter, and they say, "Oh, we just can't run the ball anymore. We've just got to throw the ball."
Yeah, I don't believe in that, but
Yeah. Actually, not to completely derail this, I I brought this up in the chat. It was so weird to me to see Aaron Rodgers off the field with 6 minutes left in that game. Go back. That was. I mean, just full on gave up. You don't see that often, especially not with.
Well, that's that Achilles showing out.
Yeah,
that's 100%.
They decided to protect him.
Just That's what I mean when I say so many games were just so ugly. There was a lot of what just felt like straight up waving the white flag.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right, so
Chargers.
I got Herbert for 225 and 1, and the scary part on the Chargers is the running backs and wide receivers.
Yeah.
I got wide receivers, nope, on them, and I couldn't on the running back. I had to do a total. I couldn't. I feel like J.K. is the better, but I feel like with Harbaugh is whoever is hot is fixing to get the rock.
Yep.
So I got them for a total of 150 and 1, and you at
Coin
your own
flip.
peril.
yeah, going flip to see which one gets
Yeah,
the
see
one.
who you want to start
I think they're both flex options. Yeah, I mean
at the
Edwards-
top. At the top, yeah.
Yeah, Gus Edwards. I think Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, still loves him some Gus Bus, and so he'll get some time, and maybe he does get hot. But Dobbins is the more talented. Good for him. He's gone through
About
so many
time,
injuries.
yeah.
I'm glad he finally got something. I mean, Lad McConkey is a start. Is Josh Palmer hurt, or am I making that up?
I didn't.
I've not had a single Charger this year.
Oh, lad.
I like Lad McConkey too. I hope he comes along.
I was disappointed Brendan Rice was a healthy scratch for the game. Belichick himself has moved on from Brendan Rice.
Like
after
so
1
many
week.
other in the Foley-check.
We still think
Yeah.
he can do great things. We encourage others.
You're
to-
wishing him the best in all his future endeavors.
We're deep on wide receiver.
He threw the baby
just
out
had
with
to
the
move on.
dishwater. Yeah.
We wish nothing but good things on him.
Yeah.
Parting amicably.
To
Yeah.
answer your question, Palmer is limited in practice.
I
So
thought he's hurt,
hurt, but it's a knee something or other. I tell you who to start in this game: Chargers defense. That's who you go with.
There
because
you
the
go.
Panthers
Yes.
are garbage.
Yes.
for sure.
So moving on, not a lot on there. We got the Seahawks, and look at that,
Oh,
the
baby.
Patriots looking good.
Surprise.
Undefeated.
Wow.
Put
That's
that in, take a snapshot of that because that's the last time you're gonna hear that.
I wish I'd said it on the podcast, but I did say to my father Saturday, don't be surprised if the Patriots beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
Oh man. So Pats, I put nope on everybody, but maybe Ramondre.
Ramondre looked pretty good.
Ramondre-
That's the only one.
You've got to start Ramondre at this point. I mean, it could be different this week, but he was good enough. You've got to start him every week until he shows you something different, I think. I benched him last week and sure did regret it in a different league. Demario Douglas is a maybe, I guess. Slot receiver.
I got one
You can
for
be a
you.
dart throw if you're thin.
Let's go.
2 for 3, 12 yards.
Let's go with Ramondre versus Jonathan Taylor.
It's Taylor, but you're going to start them both. You're going to find a way to start
Yeah.
them
But I'm saying if you got to choose
both. You
between,
gotta choose it's
give me
Taylor.
one.
It's Taylor.
I would say
Taylor was
so.
the only running back, and we'll get into the Colts in a bit, but Taylor was the only running back in the NFL to take 100% of the snaps. He never left
Really?
the field.
All right.
Unless
Bucks.
they were going 5 wide, but no
Sure.
other.
Well,
there was no Evan
I know
Hall
what you
didn't
mean,
touch the
right.
field. Trey Sermon didn't
Saquon
touch the
didn't
field.
get that? I thought he was in the whole.
No, Ken Gainwell had like 4 snaps.
Okay, so give me the Bucks running backs because you don't know that
Give me
situation.
Ramondre. Give me Ramondre.
Or Ramondre. Ramondre.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I take
Okay.
Ramondre for the same reason.
All right. So now we'll move on to the Seahawks. And look, guys, I'm Geno 201, and the only other person is I would start on that team is Walker.
If he's healthy.
If he
If
plays,
he's healthy,
he's hurt.
Charbonnet, if not.
Charbonnet if not. And that was another slash room that I feel like is going to be 100, 125 and 1 touchdown, and you don't know who you're getting.
Fire up Tyler Lockett. My boy.
You want to,
Okay.
but that's it. I mean, that's
See, I missed the Seahawks game altogether. I'm looking at
DK
DK's
was
stats, and they were
disappointing.
terrible.
He had he was in shadow coverage, and I can't remember who's covering him in that game, but he was well covered. It's not going to be a better matchup this week. He's got Christian Gonzalez covering him. It's going to be rough. You're going to start DK.
I mean, it's like going
you
to
gotta-
Wards. I mean, you're hoping it's going to be good, but
well,
the chances of it going bad are pretty good too.
at Wards you don't buy the food, you rent it. But that's
This is true, but it's hard to say no to a chili cheese dog.
so. Yeah, I mean, you've got to start DK, but just temper your expectations there. Lockett, I think, is still always going to be a fine flex play.
Well, I mean, I feel like you got DK, Lockett, Jackson, Smith.
JSN, I'm not starting.
See, I feel like in this situation, you got to start one because one is going to hit. I don't know who.
Yeah. It seems like it's been the trouble with the Seahawks for a
It
while
has.
now.
Well,
It's
used to Lockett was. I mean, you had Lockett on lockdown. I mean,
Yeah.
he was
starting every
yeah.
week, and then
And then DK came along, and you're starting DK, and now it's
who knows?
JSN and Lockett are kind of
I
up
think
in
it's
the air.
still Lockett.
I do too, but
yeah.
all right. So moving on, we got the Saints and the Cowboys. Evan,
How about
start
the
this
Saints,
this one off,
baby?
brother.
Go Saints, baby. And like I said, every week that they're not playing the Panthers is probably not going to be Carr's week. I would really like to see more out of Chris Olave. That was, to me, the second most surprising output of the week, right behind Amon-Ra. It was just
It's disappointing.
I couldn't tell if it was because they don't have a very good relationship, Olave and Carr, or if it was just this game script. It really looked like Rashid Shaheed was getting most of the looks.
Yep.
It looked like he was the guy to go with. Kamara was fine. You're going to start Kamara either way if you got him.
And if you got Derek Carr,
If you got Derek Carr, I'm
Call the
sorry,
Car.
dude.
Call the
I'm
Car.
sorry
Come on,
about it,
baby.
man. I don't see him doing very well against the Packers or the Cowboys backfield. I just don't see it.
You got anything on the?
no, I think he pretty
Saints?
much covered. I mean, well, the tight end situation, right? Foster Moreau,
He's out.
I almost
he's
picked-
out.
He's out.
Oh, that's disappointing. I thought this was a good matchup.
I
for
did
Foster
too.
Moreau.
Yep. Well, in that regard, what's his name? Juwan
Jennings.
Johnson.
Juwan Jennings,
Is it Jennings?
the tight end,
Yeah.
Juwan Jennings.
Yeah. I get him confused with the other Juwan. Anyway, he might fill in that role a little bit, but
Well, the thing for me is just, I mean, I'm not a Foster Moreau guy or anything, but he's pretty good against the man coverage that the Cowboys will put on him. Jennings isn't. I just thought in this particular matchup, Moreau could be an interesting.
Bring
throw
out the
for a
heel.
tight end.
Bring out the heel. So in this game, I got Carr 225 and 1. I got Kamara 101. I got Olave 75 and 1. Cowboys, what you got, Evan? You'll throw up in your mouth if you say that.
It's hard for me to say. I still have the Saints winning this game. You're going to start your deck. Ezekiel Elliott looked way better than I expected him to.
Okay.
He looked pretty all right. You're going to start CeeDee Lamb. I mean, the Cowboys is one of those ones where you know
Give me
who
Rico.
you're starting. You
I
think
think-
Rico?
Rico's droppable at this point.
Ah!
I cut ties with it was a dart throw anyway, but I took ties with Dalvin Cook. I
saw
just
that.
I don't know. I think if you got a Cowboy player, you know whether or not they're worth starting. I need to know whether Ferguson's going to be back in this game.
Old turd Ferguson.
It looks like his knee exploded.
Exactly.
And now they're talking about he might be back in there, and that's a tough call. That's the riskiest start, I think.
I got Dak with 250 and 2, and I got the running backs. Don't trust them.
It is Juwan Johnson.
And
Juwan
CD.
Jennings is the 49ers.
My bad. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
I
that's what
apologize.
All right.
Oh, see, well, did y'all hear that? Foley was wrong.
Take accountability. This wasn't even a take.
Uh, And
Sorry, I cut you off.
no, and CD, like you said, start. I got 101. So
Yeah. And he might even do better than that.
Don't forget
honestly.
Brandon Cooks now.
Brandon Cooks had
Had a
the
good
first
game.
touchdown.
he had
and
a good catch.
yeah,
One catch, good.
he's still 4 feet tall.
Can't keep a good man down. Brandon Cooks is always
his body
going to be
keeps him down, and that he is.
If
very
only he
short.
would have stayed with the Saints, man.
Yeah.
How would we look?
You
All
know.
right, moving on. Pepto coming. We got
toilet
the
bowl of the week.
Giants and the Commanders.
Ugh. Flex to PBS, 8 p.m.
You ain't lying. Watch 60 Minutes or something.
Yeah.
Fold some clothes.
Daniel Jones really is the worst starting quarterback in the NFL right now.
At
For my
this
money.
point, I feel almost a little bad for him. Like
he got paid. He got
he
paid.
got
Look,
paid, yeah, but
We could have this conversation, but I'm not going to do it right now.
You're saving it.
I'll save it, and I don't know when it comes out, but there's a lot of bad quarterbacks.
yeah.
And this right here, I got no Giants and no Commander, unless you got Daniels,
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, you're starting.
and you're doing that with one eye closed.
Yeah.
Hoping.
Hoping for the best.
I feel like he is a terrible quarterback. all he can do is run, much like AR.
Yeah, he does have that kind of
Give me,
AR
give me,
feel to
give me
him.
Daniels, and I'm starting it.
They
I'm starting
both-
it. I'm starting it. AR, Daniels,
Yeah.
and what's you just said his name on the Giants? Daniel
Daniel
Jones.
Jones.
Throw them in a pot. Close your eyes. Dig in there. Grab that apple.
I
And
think
you're-
you're off. I think you're off. I think Daniel Jones is far worse than either of them.
I would say so. Jaden Daniels and AR, they both had good weeks last week.
Yeah.
Because they ran.
Oh, yeah,
That's-
Daniels
and-
also looked okay.
And saying
you
that
get
is,
points.
I understand that, but you cannot trust
That's true.
anybody on those teams as long as they have the ball and they're running. I mean,
I take your point. Brian Robinson, and I know everyone's still worried about Eckler taking in
I'm
his
not.
workload. I'm not
I'm
really
not
either.
worried about Eckler.
I'm starting Brian Robinson this
Yeah.
week. I have him. I'm starting him.
I wish you well. I mean, I just feel like Daniels just takes away from everybody. I love Scary Terry.
Yeah, you got to start Terry.
I mean, yeah, but I don't.
You don't have to feel good about it.
No, you're
No.
not going to feel good about it, especially Monday rolls up and you're going to feel real bad about it.
Look, I think things get better for the receiving corps over time with Daniels as the starter
I hope.
as he gets more adjusted to the NFL. He had of the rookies, he probably had the best.
He was the
debut.
best quarterback.
Yeah, he was. I mean, even as a passer, he had the best debut this year. So, I think over time things will even out. Terry will get his. Maybe De'Ami Brown gets his. Maybe not, but Terry definitely will.
All right, so moving on, we got the Bucks versus the Lions. Who wants to go first on this?
Man, oh man.
Baker's dozen,
I
baby.
love this game.
Coming back.
This game's. First of all, let's just acknowledge the Lions' opening schedule was just a bunch of playoff rematches. We had Rams last week, Bucks this week, still in Detroit. First of all, Baker. Imagine how good the Browns would be if they had
Man.
Baker
Yeah,
Mayfield.
man, what a perfect fit that would be.
Who would have thunk it? They draft a good quarterback and they throw him out as soon as they can to pay $500 billion to Leroy.
Leroy Bickerstaff.
Man, I'm so excited about the Buccaneers offense. I'm kicking myself that I didn't get. I thought I was going to get Baker in this draft, and he just went earlier than I expected. I really thought he was going to be
I
my
did too.
QB3 again, and he just went earlier than I expected. And I'm kicking myself for it because I think Baker's going to be good. I'm not fully bought in on Baker being.
You
Great
can't.
again.
You can't.
He gives me 2 more games that are not even that good, but close to as good as he was last week, and I'm fully bought in
Well-
on Baker Mayfield being a great
Well,
quarterback.
I feel like his line, and I have it right here, 225-1. I feel like it's going to be 225-2, 250-2, 250-1. I don't see him throwing up very
Steady.
many
Steady
300
production.
because he's not a gunslinger.
Wide receivers.
I was
You got
surprised that both of them
Can't
did okay.
guard Mike.
I'm surprised that they both did okay because that
Godwin.
seems to not really happen that often where they're
Well-
both having 20-plus points.
Well, they used to
Right.
until Dave Canales got there, and for all the good Canales did, he made Godwin play out on the outside.
He should be in the slot.
Man, this Liam Cohen's the offensive coordinator now. On day one, he was like, "Yeah, we're putting Chris Godwin in the slot in that Cooper Cup role because he came from the Rams." And yeah, he's back to his old self, looking good again. There's room enough for them both to eat. Jalen McMillan, we'll see what happens with him if there's just even room for him to get anything. Man,
How do you feel about Bucky Irving?
that was what I was about to say. The running backs are a migraine right now.
Yeah, I mean it's a split. You don't know
Oh.
what's coming. There's so many, and that's what's kind of disheartening about the week one. There was so many by committees going on. It's like so and so's going to start, and that's who we're going to hitch our wagon to, and boom, here comes Bucky out of nowhere.
I think
mean,
it's going to be Bucky's job soon. Maybe not this week, but soon.
I love Bucky at Oregon. I think he was a great player. I still think he's a great running back, but who knows? I got that room with 100, 125-1. Move on to the Lions. Talk to me.
Oh boy. All right, let's get the obvious out the way. Amon-Ra St. Brown, disappointing. Sam Laporta, disappointing. Goff was, Lions fan here, Goff was bad in this game.
It was.
I know it didn't, his stats came out okay. Goff looked bad. I don't know if, he goes through these stretches where he just looks bad. He wasn't seeing some wide open Amon-Ra's. Amon-Ra played well. Laporta was okay. Better days are ahead. this scheme is too good. This offensive line is too good. Everything around Goff is too good, and he's not Deshaun Watson bad.
Yeah.
That Amon-Ra is going to be just fine.
Well, here's my issue with that team is I like them, but you got Williams, you got Laporta, you got Amron. Who else we got?
You got Jameer
Montgomery.
Gibbs.
Jameer
and David
Gibbs.
Montgomery.
I mean,
Montgomery looked great.
who?
I disagree about being worried about it. Like, Jameson Williams got 5 catches. That's a career high for him. That's about the cap for his style of play. I mean, he's just kind of taking over what Khalif Raymond did last year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Williams was out most of the year last year.
5 games, I think it ended up being, with that suspension.
Yes. Well, he was okay. So, what was it? He was
The year before. he was hurt.
ACL.
Yeah.
And then the 5 years. So really, this is
This is the first time he's had a full preseason and training camp.
and that's what I'm getting at. I feel like he is going to cut in more on Amron and
Maybe.
Laporta.
I think their skill sets are just
I hope
so
so,
different.
but I just feel that's my feeling.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
get it. I get it. To me, I mean, J-Mo is never going to be a high-volume guy. He's going to be...
Oh, he's going to be that one home run play.
Exactly. He is a perfect Z flanker type of receiver.
But if Goff is taking that shot, you see what I'm saying?
I do. I think Amon-Ra is going to be fine, and Laporta will probably be fine. The question mark for me, though, is the backfield still, as it always is. Gibbs and
Absolutely.
Montgomery. Who knows? I mean, they went a while where it was just Gibbs. Get into overtime, nothing but Montgomery, baby.
Yep.
And he was doing great. He was averaging, if you take away the touchdown run, which was shorter because he just ran out of places to run, there was no more field to run, he was averaging 9 yards a pop on that drive. He's a bowling ball. He's great. They're trying to do Gibbs more in this high-volume role. They're running in between the tackles a lot more. We'll see. It's a fluid situation. It's another one of those committees you're talking about. And I don't love it from a fantasy perspective. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Nobody else. Whoever wide receiver 3 is, you don't care for Detroit. I still don't know who it is.
And yeah, I got Williams 75-1, Amron 101, and Laporta 50-1. So I mean, I got Goff going pretty good this game.
I'll say this: if I were a Jameson Williams owner, I wouldn't start him. I would
Okay.
not start him. I would want to see it for one more week.
And we'll agree to disagree. I
Yeah.
feel like he is going to be sort of like that. What we thought would be Puka and Cup.
I mean, hell,
I
I hope
feel
you're right.
I feel like that's what that's going to be
I
this year.
hope you're right.
So moving on, we'll go to the
Oh,
Colts.
wait, I think the over-under's, sorry, last thing. The over-under's like 51. So, I mean, that's going to be a fireworks
That's
game.
a bonanza game right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, go shoot out. Okay, corral. All right, so next we got the Colts and the Packers. All right, somebody help me and tell me I'm wrong about Anthony Richardson. Yeah, just do it because I feel like I'm not.
I mean, look, he kept missing A.D. Mitchell on some throws.
Yeah.
For sure. But he also hit some throws that there's like, that first Alec Pierce touchdown, there's 3 quarterbacks in the NFL who can make that throw.
I know,
It's-
but Mitchell, he missed him on
I know he
wide.
did.
I mean,
I know he did.
That-
I mean, he
That's-
finished sub 50. I mean, it was 9 for 19, but the 2 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. He is like the definition of boom or bust. You never see this so much in a single game where he could be top tier or absolute bottom.
But that's the thing. I think because you hit the nail on the head. Because it is within a single game for fantasy, I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
getting the boom in there
Right.
as well.
The boom
I don't
is
care if
perfect.
some of it's ugly.
well, y'all latch on to that one. I don't want no part of it.
My only concern is if he gets hurt again.
I mean, and the way he's running,
Yeah, I have that. I mean, by the way, I didn't mention it earlier. I am terrified of Lamar getting hurt this year. He lost that weight and the hits he's taken. I'm worried. Anyway, at least Richardson's bigger.
so I got Richardson with 150-1 and 75 yards rushing. Taylor, to me, like we were talking earlier, you got to start Taylor. You got to start Pittman. I got them for 75-1 for each. But once again, I'm closing an eye and peeking through hands on the. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel. I feel like once again, Richardson is a run first quarterback, and that's going to hurt everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, there's no one but Michael Pittman in the receiving core that you can feel good about starting.
Well, even that, like, of all of the the top 40 receivers that are out there that had a really weak game this week, he is the one that I would be the most upset about for the reason that he just said that. Is he ever going to get more looks? Is he going to be able to take all that over? Like Olave, Amon-Ra, you know that they're going to bounce back. They're going to get their targets. They're going to get their looks. But is Pittman?
I mean, I've said before, I'm not a Michael Pittman guy or anything, but I think you trust that he is the top receiver on that team, and you think it'll work out. Look, I scooped up Alec Pierce. I need like a month of Alec Pierce before he even sniffs the lineup. If I'm A.D. Mitchell, I mean,
he likes
Josh Downs. But here's the thing. Josh Downs is coming back, and it's suddenly going to be
he's going to get relegated.
Mitchell is going to have to compete with Pierce for that outside role.
That's right.
With Downs coming back to the slot.
And Pierce is bigger.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of them's
going
to be
the Z. 6'3", 6'4"? I mean, he's huge.
He is. We'll see. One of them's going to be the Z, and I'm not really trusting either of them until I see it for a while. On the Packers side, good old Malik Willis.
Don't start Malik Willis. Do not
if
start
you're starting Malik Willis, James, who wanted him for $1, like I said, I saved you from that one.
Yeah,
Joe got him.
Yeah, because you'd be sick starting Malik Willis. Look.
Go ahead and start Malik, Joe.
Look, if you sucked on the Titans, you're going to suck on the Packers. Although you should do a little bit better because of who's around you, but you're still going to suck.
It's just not.
He was awful.
So, look.
Really, really bad.
Saying that, I feel like you're going to. I just got nope on Willis. I feel like your wide receivers are going to suffer. I got Jacobs for just 75, no touchdown. And I feel like he's going to do bad.
Oh, yeah. He'll get production in the first quarter, 2 quarters, and then
they'll stack the box.
Yeah, then he's just going to be done for. Nothing.
Well, I feel like there's going to be 8, and it's going to be man on man, and they'll move the safety to Dobbs or whoever they want.
Are we overreacting to the huge Jaden Reed game? Like, setting aside, what happened with Love. Are we? Yeah,
yes.
I agree. It's an overreaction.
I mean, he may be great, but guys, unless you're Jamar Chase, Jefferson, that you cannot expect that every week.
No.
CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I'm just being honest.
I'm sure he'll have some great games throughout the year. I wouldn't come to put him in my one slot there.
Absolutely not.
Start the Colts defense, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
That's another must-have. Did you pick them up?
No, I'm sticking with. We already went through this game, but I'm sticking with the Seattle defense for another week.
Gotcha.
I think they're going to do pretty well against the Patriots.
Talking about bad quarterbacks, we'll move on to the next list, and it's going to be the Rams and Cards.
Have you changed your tune on Kyler Murray?
No.
Or did it justify it?
He's garbage.
I felt like that was a game you could watch, and if you liked Kyler, you could say, see,
He's
this is
decent.
why I like Kyler. And if you hate Kyler, you could see, this is why I hate Kyler. It could go either way. That was a Rorschach test of a game.
You have Marvin Harrison Jr. wide open, and you don't even look at him. You throw it to Dortch. Whoever Dortch is.
Glenn Dortch. Greg Dortch. Glenn and Greg are the same name.
Yes.
I'm surprised that the line is as tight as it is on this game, honestly.
I saw the same thing. Yeah, it's 3?
It's Cards at -1 or -1.5.
And see, I feel like that's just Vegas reacting to last week's suckiness. Murray, 150, 50 yards rushing.
James Conner, I would still start.
50-1 is what I got on him.
Conner's your guy. I mean, look. I think Matt's the Harrison one, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting Harrison one more week.
After that, I feel
after that, I'm starting him one more week.
Well, and he's also got Murray, too.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got the stack. Go for it.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry it turned out this way.
Yeah, it was a bad one. Sorry about that, Matt.
Harrison will have better days.
Will he?
Probably.
Hopefully.
Again, I always had concerns about the Harrison scheme fit there, but even still,
once again, Murray in my other group, throw him in a barrel, and it's the trashiest of the trash.
No, he'll have better days. I mean, I think that what the Cardinals showed against Buffalo is this ability to always be scrappy and keep games close, and Harrison will benefit from that. It was as much as we can blame Kyler for
We'll see.
missing him. Harrison was also pretty bad in that game for the
Sure.
most part.
I mean,
But he will get better. I think he will get better.
21 for 31, 162 and a touchdown, Kyler. You know, it's not terrible, but
Yeah,
should have been
I
better.
mean, Harrison just didn't get as much separation. He wasn't running the cleanest
Except for that
routes,
one play.
Except for that one play.
Yeah.
But I think Harrison will get better, and Kyler will build chemistry over time.
Sure.
On the Rams now.
Yeah.
Poor R.I.P. Puka Nacua.
Luka,
Puka R.I.P. He
yeah.
went from fantasy stud to ugh.
5 weeks at least.
Ugh.
He looked so good on the catch that he hurt himself on,
Yeah.
too. It was such a good play. Yeah. I mean, Stafford is...
The Rams look scary.
They do. They looked really good last week, even with a terrible offensive line.
What's that
Worst
guy's name?
offensive line in football, I think.
So I got
No, I'm
Stafford.
sorry, the Patriots do exist.
I was just gonna say, Stafford. I got 275 and 1. I got Williams for 101 and Cup. Give me 150
150.
and 1. I'm calling it, baby.
I think Cup,
Cup goes off.
just player of the week.
Player of the week. Mark it up.
Fair enough.
Whew. I don't have the stomach for it. I know as a Blake Corum owner, I was sad to see how things shook out with that game. Not one snap for Corum. Ronnie Rivers was the backup, but I'm hoping over time that changes.
It's
So-
got to.
So talking about our trash quarterbacks will lead us next to the Steelers and the Broncos.
Whew.
Bless your heart if you're starting a quarterback on either one of these teams. Who wants to go with the Broncos?
I can't expect anybody is starting any of these quarterbacks. The Broncos, yikes.
I'm not starting anyone on the Broncos, full stop.
I'm not either. I got Jaleel McLaughlin in my deep bench, and maybe it's worth it eventually, but that is the closest to any Bronco
Full
that I
stop.
even think about.
There's not a single Bronco, not even Cortland Sutton.
I
Nobody.
agree.
Not Javonte Williams.
Look,
Absolutely not.
I got
Nobody.
this. You'll laugh at this stat. I got Knicks for 125. That's
it.
it. That's
125.
125.
I
No
mean, it was only
touchdown.
138 the last time and
Yeah.
2 interceptions. So I mean,
Yeesh.
yeah, it's believable.
I feel like the only person you could flex would be Williams, and I would not want to do that.
No.
And the only reason Williams would get the flex is because where you drafted.
I think you can find better.
I do too. I'm just saying that Steelers.
Steelers,
Woo.
it's that same problem that you were talking about with Anthony Richardson. Justin Fields ran the ball 14 times in that game.
Ridiculous.
He's not big enough
So
for that.
so
I don't
say
know, man. I will say, and this is just football, not fantasy. Fields managed that game well. I thought he had a good, clean game. He let his defense win. He ran when he needed to, but not when he didn't need to. But I think I'm afraid as long as Fields is the starter, that's what you're going to get, and it's going to hurt everyone on the fan. It's good for the Steelers. It's bad for fantasy.
So on there I got Fields for 175 and 1. You're gonna laugh at this. Give me Harris for 101. And
Oh,
Pickens 80 and 1.
I buy the Harris line.
I can kind of feel the Pickens too. I feel like that
I feel
touchdown
like-
is like iffy, but
I feel like the Jalen Warren experiment is over,
mhm.
and I feel like it's Najee's to lose.
I think the reason for that is Arthur Smith. He did, setting aside my personal hate for Arthur Smith, he does like zone runs, and that's the one thing that Najee is better at than Jalen Warren.
That's right.
Warren is more of a gap runner. Najee is the zone runner, and yeah, he's just a better fit in the Arthur Smith offense.
So coming up next, we got the Bengals, and the Chiefs.
What a disappointing showing from Cincinnati this week, and I get it.
Great for Mixon.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. You can say that week one of every year for the Bengals in the Zach Taylor era.
This is
Yeah.
true.
Every year they do this, without fail.
Just ugly, and I didn't even watch the game, but I had Burrow in this league, and that was a mess. As I understand it, their O-line was just Swiss cheese all day long. They just got straight through to it.
Well, their running back sucked.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. In this game, I got Burrows for 250 and 1. I got Moss for 75. No touchdown, and I got Chase for 101. Let's go.
I think Chase has a bigger game. Yeah, I think
I
Chase
hope.
will be fine.
What about this guy, Iosivas, however you say his name.
Andre Yoshibas,
Yoshibas.
aka Yoshi of Princeton University.
That's right, baby.
Um,
Proud to be a dong.
he is a dong. Unfortunately, he didn't do amazingly even without T. Higgins there. I mean, he's filling the Tyler Boyd role is what he's doing, and the Tyler Boyd role wasn't exciting last year.
It's not gonna be exciting this year.
I will say this is kind of a deeper thing, but man, Jermaine Burton he ran 4 routes, I think, in that game with all these injuries. It's like, how much of a psychopath is he that they won't let him out? I mean, apparently he's not studying film. He's not showing up to team meetings because this is a talented dude. I mean, I've heard things along those lines. This is a talented dude, and they're just like,
whatever.
You're too much of a character issue for us to even put you out on the field.
Wow.
It's crazy.
But yeah, I think Chase is going to have a big bounce back week this week. If not this week, then next. Yeah, you're staying away from the running backs. On the Bengals side, if you are just desperate at tight end, and I mean you've got to be desperate. But Mike Gesicki, the only reason I say it, and this is the only week I would want to try this Gesicki experiment, look what Likely did against the Chiefs last week.
Sure.
Give it a shot, maybe. I mean, he's splitting time at tight end, but he did almost have a touchdown last week. He had a touchdown taken off the board against the Patriots due to a penalty.
So on the Chiefs side, I got Mahomes as being the player of the week. I got 302.
Nice.
I feel like, which, we got a small sample size. I feel like Mahomes is going to be up there this year.
I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. There's no question whether or not you put him in.
The thing that's going to carry him is going to be Pacheco and Kelsey. Rice, I think Rice is going to be Rice, and I think Worthy is going to step down a little bit, but it's going to fall on Pacheco and Kelsey. Kelsey's got to be more.
It's going to be better than it was last week.
I mean, drop Taylor Swifty at the house and let's go. And cut that stupid mustache, dude. God.
People are focused on Worthy, and he had a great game, and it is somebody that I like. Even if I had him, I would probably keep gambling on him as the situation arises. But I mean, Rashee Rice had 7 targets for 100 yards.
Rice is the dude.
Rice is the one, and the touchdown really made it seem a lot more close than it was.
Yeah.
Because as far as targets, it was 9 versus 3.
Yeah. Plus 1 carry.
So I got Pacheco 75-1, Rice 75-1, Kelsey 101. I got to bounce back.
I mean, look, I'm a Worthy owner in a different league. I'm still benching him. I want to see it for multiple weeks from this guy. It was kind of I don't want to say gimmick thing, but they're using him like they used Kadarius Toney. He's much more talented than Toney, but they use him as a gadget player.
Yeah.
And I just want to see that they can consistently use that gadget before I have any confidence starting him. I don't know if Kelsey's ever going to bounce back. I think this is actually a good matchup for him.
That's what I'm going off of.
And yeah, I mean, he might just based on the matchup. But
now saying that, going right off of what you're saying, I feel like if Kelsey doesn't have a bounce back, for the season.
Yeah,
for the season.
For sure.
On Kelsey, and that's a scary thought for it because who took him? What, second, third round?
Had to be Allen.
I mean, I'm scared. I hope he doesn't because I feel like that's what Mahomes needs. He needs Kelsey to run around and find him a safety net.
Get lost, as Chris Collinsworth described it.
Lord, who saw Chris Collinsworth? Wait, was it Chris Collinsworth's son?
I remember something about his son a couple years ago, but I can't remember.
Who's the terrible announcer? Anyway, I'll get off of that. I'll find him. Somebody's son.
We'll bring that to the chat.
It was scary. So moving on, we'll go to the Bears and the Texans. Starting with the Bears. Evan.
I
told
you about Caleb Williams. I told you I didn't believe in this guy. And I burned myself in both leagues just taking a chance on it. Caleb Williams, I don't see it.
Look, if you paint your fingernails, that says it all.
It's just...
And wear a purse and a pink phone case.
He just looked absolutely lost out there. And I guess it was Joe brought up, he can't find an actual source for that quote. But the fact that it's so believable, I don't know. It's just
the Captain Comeback?
The Captain Comeback.
Scary.
Quote. I don't like the Bears much at all. Odunze is hurt right now too. He hurt his knee or something like that. But I would like to take a little accountability, real quick, for the fact that I absolutely picked Joe Mixon, and I told you all that Mixon was going to have a killer week. And look at it. I'm taking accountability for being so right.
I believe I
Well-
also said that
Nah, I
Mixon
brought
would
it
be
up.
good.
Once,
I brought it up,
once again, Evans tooting his own horn on something that he got
I
lucky
was
on.
not-
So
There was nothing else that worked out for me this week, so that one I am going to champion it for the entire year.
raise that flag, buddy. Raise that flag.
Okay, are we talking Bears or are we talking Texans?
Well,
first?
we'll finish.
I was just
We'll
kinda
finish the
talking
Bears.
again.
We'll finish the
Bears.
Bears.
I
what
will
do you
say,
think?
I will say, Caleb.
Once again, Caleb, throw him in that bucket.
Yes.
There are better days ahead for Caleb, but it's not this week.
No,
It's not this year.
I think it's this year, but I don't think it's against that Houston defense.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, that's troublesome. That D'Amico Ryans defense is going to give him hell. That said, DJ Moore,
week
we're good
5.
with. DJ Moore is my only confident start. Maybe Keenan Allen. I'm not starting the Unders. I'm the
Is
Swift
Keenan
owner.
Allen hurt too?
He's not as hurt as Adunze, I don't think. Like Allen's
Oh,
going to
it's
play.
a heel issue.
I got Williams for 125-1,
Hopefully.
and Swift I got him for 50-1, and then Moore, like you said, I think it's the only person you can start, and I got him for 50-1.
I think Williams has a breakout game week 5. You know why? Playing the Panthers.
There you go.
So
There you
that's
go.
when it
If
happens.
I was, yes, bet on that game.
At the latest, that'll be his breakout. Yeah, it's not going to be this week. Keenan Allen though is still Keenan Allen. He had an almost touchdown, I think, in this game. And I know they don't count for fantasy, but almost touchdowns are important
It's a
to
good
me.
sign.
Yeah, they're promising signs. It's still Keenan Allen. The dude's still a baller, and if Adunze's hurt, even better for him.
Yeah.
So there you go.
What about
Texans
old Swift?
side.
What do you think about
Oh,
old
on Swift, yeah, it's again. I'm the owner.
Don't trust him.
I don't trust him, and I've got to see something real. I knew that when I drafted him. He was the first running back I took, and I was like, I might not start him week 1. I'm just gonna hold him and see.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening.
So moving on. Oh, did we? No, we didn't even
haven't
go.
covered
Yeah.
Houston.
So Texas.
Look good.
I got CJ 250-2.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I feel like you could throw him in top 10, top 15 talk. I feel like he's.
for sure.
I feel like he's a really good quarterback. I got Mixon. You'll love this one. 102.
Yeah.
Touchdowns.
I was going to say 125-1, but I'll take 1 and 2.
And I feel like Collins and Tank and that whole crew is going to kind of blow it up. But I feel like when I say blow it up, one is going to blow it up.
And even 2. I mean, look, to me, Tank Dell's the odd man out. I love Tank Dell. He's the odd
Tank
man
Dell's
out.
blowing up this week. Just calling it.
I hope you're right. I love Tank.
Team Dong.
I think he's the odd man out. I think it's Nico and Diggs, and there's just not room for a third right now.
Diggs
I
had
feel- I
2
feel-
touchdowns, but it was
I-
only on 30 yards.
I
You
feel
know?
like Diggs is. I feel like he might be in the same argument as Kelsey this year.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong. I don't see it coming to fruition, that signing.
I don't know. I think he looks better than he did last year already.
So moving on, we'll go to the Falcons and Eagles.
Monday Night Football.
FTF.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So start with Falcons.
Ray McLeod.
No.
Ray McLeod.
Drake?
Leading receiver for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, that's
right
going
now.
to change this week.
Ray McLeod. All right.
Leading receiver on 4 receptions.
Real talk, yeah. This has been mentioned a little bit. Joe certainly talked a lot about it. Cousins, that mobility issue he's got, it's a problem. I mean, Cousins.
Do you think he goes to the bathroom in a golf cart? I'm just
Might have to.
wondering. I mean, the dude cannot move.
I mean, they couldn't play from under center. 96% of snaps were from the gun or pistol. Because he cannot play from under center.
I know.
He can't move.
We
and
saw
that's
it.
a problem. Yeah, and that's a
problem
problem.
for Bijan.
I don't know. It's a
He
problem
didn't-
for the offense as a whole, just because, man, they can't do play action from play action from under center is the bread and butter of what Cousins did in Minnesota, of what the Rams do, which is, I mean, it's a Rams former assistant that's running this offense.
Well,
It's a problem.
the defensive line is putting their ears back and
Yeah,
rushing
yeah.
every
Yeah.
time. I mean, you can't. It's terrible for Bijan, and I feel like Bijan could have had a great year if
Bijan, after what I saw, so this is where I'm pushing back. RB1. Bijan is RB1, man.
I'm not gonna say no.
He's getting the volume he never got. They're feeding the man. They're doing what Arthur Smith was afraid to do. They are feeding Bijan. He got 18 carries.
But Cousins
Yeah, 5
is going to
receptions.
hurt him. Cousins
and
is
5
going to hurt him.
receptions. That's right.
Cousins is going to hurt him.
That's
I'm just saying.
I think Cousins gets better over time.
I hope so.
I'm not saying
I'm
he's going to
pulling
be
for
amazing.
Penix. Let me get some.
Yeah, I
Penix
know
in
you
there.
are. I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
Give me
Either way, whether it's Penix or Cousins, though, man, Bijan's RB1. And in all seriousness, I know y'all made fun of me with this Ray McLeod thing. He actually looked pretty good. And it wasn't just, I was just interested in him because he was the starting slot.
there's a meme of Robert Downey Jr. rolling his eyes. This is you
Yeah,
insert that right here.
In all seriousness, though. I mean, even when they were in 2-minute offense at the end of that game, who did Cousins go to? It was Ray McLeod. I'm not starting him yet, but
You're excited.
I'm excited. I'm real excited about him. And Kyle
Drake.
Pitts, my boy Kyle Pitts, he had to wave in the end zone to get his touchdown, but he
Yeah.
got it. He got it. I think Drake London is overrated.
I was going to say, what do
I
you
feel
think
like
is
he's coming
just-
back. I feel like he'll be back this year.
I think.
I mean,
s-
this
wasn't
next
much
game.
to it.
I said it in the chat. I think he and George Pickens are pretty much interchangeable. And look at where George Pickens goes in drafts versus Drake London.
Right.
I've always thought, he's a little bit. He's talented. Don't get me wrong, but he's kind of a one-trick pony with these sideline contested catches. I don't think he's a complete receiver, which again opens up more room for Ray and Kyle Pitts to get open,
So
do some things.
ending that conversation about Ray for hopefully the last time today, we'll move on with the Eagles. Start everybody.
Everybody.
Put them
Put
up.
the whole team in
Yeah,
there.
I got Hurts 302, Barkley 101, and AJ 101. And after that, you kind of just throw it out there. It's going to be Goddard or
Yeah, I'm just going to
Smith.
say Goddard. I'm feeling really good about Goddard this week. I think he gets himself one, maybe 50 yards. I like Goddard, but again, who are you if you're not going to start your Eagles at this point?
Absolutely.
yeah. If Bijan's not RB1 this year, it's because Saquon
Bark-
Barkley is.
Yes, I agree with that. So that is going to do it for that. But I'm going to end this one. I got starts of the week, and y'all can feel free to say whoever you want. I have Mahomes as the QB. I got Najee as the running back. I didn't have a wide receiver, so I'm gonna do double running backs. I know it's gonna sound weird. So besides Najee, give me Williams with the Rams, and then the tight end, give me Schultz. He's gonna go off on the Texans.
Ooh.
Don't you start? This is my fire picks.
All right, I got let me do a sits of the week, but I got to pull up Stone's team real quick. You should sit Brees Hall, Kamara, and Chris Godwin. Definitely none of them are doing anything this week. Let me see. Go ahead and put Damian Pierce in there. And Greg Dortch, Glenn Dortch, whatever Dortch's name. Get him started too.
Greg Dortch.
And now I got sits, and I'll give you this. I'm gonna give you Nix, Swift, any Pats wide receiver, and for the tight end, Isaiah Likely.
Hot takes.
Don't take them.
Other than
I agree with the Likely thing. It just
Yeah, no, I
doesn't
do.
happen again.
it will happen again. It just won't be this week.
Right. Well, that's what.
I mean, Likely is a top 12 real life tight end, but I don't know about. Yeah, it's. And look, what is going on with tight end? I honestly thought it might get a little better this year. It got worse.
I think everybody was
Got worse.
thinking this was going to be a pretty good year for tight end, and it just isn't.
No.
It's just not going right.
I think just nobody knows how to use tight ends anymore. I mean, credit to Todd Monken. He's the one who kind of looked like he did know how to use tight ends well, as both blockers and receivers. Nobody else seems to have figured it out.
No clue.
These modern tight ends, and it's frustrating. I'll go with I picked him last week as one of my picks, so I'll just go ahead and say again, can't guard Mike Evans. I called him last week, didn't I? And
You call him every week,
Every week,
every single week,
And
since
on the
I've known
weekend,
you,
he
you've
calls
called him.
and guess what? He keeps producing.
somewhere back there, he's like the guy from the Indians, where he had the little temple in his locker. It's all Mike. You know what I'm talking about?
Kind of rings a bell from the movie. Or,
Yeah,
the Charlie Sheen movie.
Yeah, the Charlie
The
Sheen
shrine
movie.
in there.
I think
Yeah.
Mugatu or something. Foley's got a Mike Evans shrine in his bedroom.
If I were to ever get a tattoo of an athlete, it would,
Oh, my
it would
Lord.
be Mike Evans. That's my
It'd
dude.
be a tattoo of Michael Evans.
Yes.
Everybody should make sure to join the Pick'em pool because I'm running it right now. I'm on top with 11, correct?
I
Ooh.
forgot to
Get
do
in
it
there.
last week.
I did it, but I didn't even look.
Yeah.
So, look, guys, keep on the chat. Trying to rip me.
Yeah.
You can't fade me. It don't bother me none. I'm gonna come right back at you because you know what? I run this place. I'm the commission. I do what I want to do.
Get 'em.
So get 'em. All right, guys. Y'all have a good day.